lasting memories from last year's game with Penn State in the Big Ten championship? What do you remember most about the game, and then maybe also just celebration and all that after?
I mean, first and foremost, I like to give glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But one of the biggest memories I have is just like seeing Dylan go down there and just like slide. And then at that moment, I was like, damn, like we really did it. We came into the Big Ten, we did what we said we was gonna do. Just silence all the doubters that doubted us from the beginning, saying that we wasn't a physical team. Now everybody knew who we are. Just seeing that, and just after the game, just seeing my family in the stands, like seeing my family travel all the way from Hawaii, and just being a kid from Hawaii all the way in Indianapolis, like I never thought I'd see myself or like over there playing in Lucas Oil Stadium. Like it was a blessing to just be in there playing on that field and just doing it with the guys I've been grinding with since January.
Building off that, what does this weekend mean to you then for the opportunity? I mean, you guys proved it last year you can do, but I know double down the mantra going into this year. What does this weekend mean to you guys?
For me, honestly, a lot of people talk about it being a big game. It's most definitely a big game, but for me, it's just like another game. I just take it into consideration. Like, at the end of the day, like I tell people, you don't have to get too high or too low. We just gotta remain cool, calm, and collected throughout the whole game. We're preparing right now just to go into their environment. We know that they got a lot. It's very loud in there, but if we just continue just to harp on the little things and just being able to stay focused and cool and calm, collected throughout the whole game, it's just gonna set out for us.
They have a very big physical defensive line. What have you seen from them on film?
Oh yeah, I mean they're up front. They are good front. They're good front four. You can see some like flashes from 33. He does a great job of getting upfield with his speed and just being able to bend. And interior, you got some solid guys. 28, being able to play with some low. This is probably one of the first teams I think we played this year where these guys are kind of smaller, but they can get low and get hands on you. We just got to be able to play a great technique against guys like that.
Dan Lanning's considered maybe the ultimate motivator in the sport, and we've seen clips of inside your locker room before games. And what makes him so effective? And I guess just are there games that you're more excited for that pregame speech than others? And it's like this one of those weeks.
Coach Line, he does a great job of just getting us hype, like you said. I mean, he does a great job just making sure that we're on fire throughout the whole week. Just leading up into that game, just preparing, like, man, like we put in all this hard work just for like 3 to 2 hours a game. We work so hard for like day in and day out just to play on that Saturday. So when he comes in and brings in that fire, like we already know, like we got his back throughout anything. So just having Coach like he does a great job, like you said, just motivating us and just seeing him because I'm always right by him. Like in the beginning of the game, just seeing how much fire that he has in the game just gives me he lit a fire in me.
Coach also just said earlier that he's trying to make this week pretty much as chaotic as possible. So nothing is a surprise on Saturday. How do you just feel like being on the offensive line that the offense have just kind of handled that in preparation for what you're going to see on Saturday?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we've been blasting our speakers out there, trying to make it how it would be like at Penn State. So, I shout out to Coach Lanning for just making it, chaotic. So when we get to the game, we know what's gonna happen and we're prepared for that moment.
What's impressed you most about Dante through the first four games?
Man, I love that dude. I just love how cool, calm, and collective he is through adversity and the good times. Also the way he is off the field. I like the way he connects with others and how his faith is too. We can connect like that through that type of scenario. But on the field, Dante does a great job of just making sure that everybody's level headed. Even though like we have a big play, we score, we like to come on the sideline, and just remind ourselves like it's 0-0. We got to go back out there and go attack like what we just did to get another score on the board.
More on that. What gives you confidence that Dante's prepared for this and can go out and execute with 100,000 fans yelling at you guys?
I know Dante. He can do his job. He trusts us, and I trust him. There's not a day that I know that Dante won't do his job. Like he does his job day in and day out, and the way he carries himself around the facility. The way he goes into the treatment room, gets his body right, and the way he is. He's here most of the time just watching film here with Coach Stein.
You had to deal with noise and a silent count at Michigan and Wisconsin last year, but this may be a little different. How does that make your job more difficult? And growing up, how many times did you actually ever hear Mo Bamba going back 6 years ago to that moment with them in Michigan back in 2019? Like, how familiar were you with that before this year, and how much have you had to hear it and learn it this week?
Oh, I mean, shoot, I did see that clip. Like, I think I was back in high school when I see that clip. I was like, man, like, that's crazy. Imagine playing that type of environment and not here. You know, it's a blessing, like, to be able to go over there and play in that type of environment. You know, I just remember watching it as a kid. You know, obviously it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be loud, like I said, but we're just gonna have to be prepared for any moment. Coach Lennon does a great job of just throwing everything at us. You know, making sure that that we're well prepared for that moment. And I feel like we've been doing a great job at it.